School has started up for a majority of us, and as unfortunate as it is, some crazy things can happen throughout the school year. I'm going to go over one of the wackiest things I've ever experienced, and it literally just happened. So, my history teacher, we're going to call him Mr. History, went missing last week, or so I thought. However, Mr. History went to Florida. And if you don't know, Florida was hit with a hurricane lately. Now, there's something you have to understand about Mr. History here. Mr. History is one of the most positive and outgoing teachers you will ever know. This guy is like Ryan Trahan's other half. He could have the worst possible thing happen and he would take it and turn it into something positive. So, essentially, he is a positivity machine. So, with that context, Mr. History goes to Florida, which, I mean, it's decently far from here. It's about like a 3-hour flight. So the next thing we know, he's in Florida and he makes a post on Google Classroom. The post says, "Hey kids, I'm on my first helicopter ride and this is the aftermath of Hurricane Ian." The best way to describe what I saw is, you know, the scene in San Andreas where the tsunami takes over everything? Well, take that, but make it look like a realistic storm and aftermath, and that's what you get. I mean, it was pretty bad. Like, the aftermath was actually devastating. But I mean, at the same time, you're like, okay, that's kind of crazy. Let's move on. So a day or two goes by and we get another post from Mr. History on Google Classroom. Now, he says he met a friend whose name is Nick, and they were making refuge efforts. So basically, my teacher was helping out the refuge. Clean up. But you know, Mr. History says, hey, if it's not nailed to the wreckage, then he's just going to steal it. Meaning, if it's not a part of like the boats or something, he's just gonna take it. Which suggests my teacher can very well be a criminal mastermind for all we know. And then, I'm not even kidding, another day goes by and this guy posts again on Classroom. I remember it said something like, hey kids, I met the president today. He told me there's a spot in the White House for me one day, but he also told Nick the same thing. Anywho, I'm returning next week unless the president needs me in DC. So, of course, like any good student, I have a few theories as to what can actually be going on here. Either this is all happening, even if it's embellished a little. If I take everything he has at face value, then I mean, yeah, that would be true. But the more interesting possibility is that this is a cover-up story he used to get a free week off of school. And how about this? Even better, he could just be a criminal mastermind with a fake identity working at a school, but he actually works for the president to get years off of his jail time. So I mean, there's a wide range of possibilities here, but never forget that Mr. History works for the White House. Which, you know, if a teacher works for the White House, that's pretty crazy. So I mean, yeah, I guess that makes me like a security guard or something. So I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll work for the White House too.